Yes, people, we're here for another match preview. It's Sunderland versus Arsenal, and who would have thought that Sunderland, after 10 games, would be in fourth position in the Premier League? Can you imagine that? They've played 5 games at home and they are currently undefeated. So, this is not going to be an easy match for Arsenal. And one player is back to play his old team, Granit Xhaka. I previously mentioned at the start of the season, he was my tip for surprise of the season. A player that is going to shock the whole league. And I feel like he has definitely achieved that so far. So we're going to take a look at a few of the match facts, my predicted lineups, how I feel the game will go, whatnot, and the injury news. So first of all, we'll start with the match facts. So I'll pop that up on the screen. So there are a few match stats for this game. I don't believe that Arsenal's actually played Sunderland for a little while now. Here, Arsenal are first, Sunderland are fourth. 7 points gap. Arsenal win this, it goes to 10, but need I say that Sunderland, you don't expect them to be there come the end of the season. And the form guide, Arsenal have won the last 5. I believe it might be a lot more than that, but yeah, can't remember. We've just been winning. Sunderland undefeated in their last 3 since losing 2-0 to Man United, but they got 3 wins, 1 draw, and 1 loss. So they've been a very, very surprising package. And then we look at the previous meetings between the two sides. So Sunderland's actually won 45 games, which is quite a lot of games, you'd say. But then again, Sunderland do have 6 league titles, the same as Chelsea. So they are not a small side. They're definitely not a small side. Oh, let me change the thing and make this a little bit bigger, just so that we can see it. There it is. That's a lot better. So sorry, lost my train of thought, people. But yeah, here it is anyway. So the previous 3 games that we've played against Sunderland, last time was in 2021. We played them in the League Cup, but they haven't been in the league for 8 years, I believe. So welcome back, Sunderland. We beat them 2-0 at the Emirates, and the reverse fixture, we beat them 4-1 at the Stadium of Light. And Sunderland are winless in their last 15 games against Arsenal since a 1-0 home victory in November 2009. Then also, all 3 of Arsenal's defeats against Sunderland have been away from home, and every single one of them have been 1-0. So, if you are somebody that fancies a flutter, that could be the result you might go for. Sunderland 1, Arsenal 0. Maybe put a fiver. The odds might be 15 to 1. You can get back a little something, but I doubt it's gonna happen. But if you got a fiver to just, give to the bookies, you can maybe put some money on this game. So that's a few other match facts. I won't go into too much of it because there's a lot more on the Opta analysis page. So I don't know if this is Opta Joe, Opta Analyst, I don't know, but I like to delve into the little stats and figures and sort of things. So, can the Gunners survive the Stadium of Light test? So far, we've already been up there to the northeast, I believe that's where it is, and we've dealt with their close rivals, Newcastle, which is a very, very tough place to go, as many teams find out every season. At that St James's Park, they punch up a lot of opponents, and hopefully we can just go and collect whatever we need to collect. If it's gonna be late, I don't care. Whatever way Arsenal need to do it, we need to get the job done. Yeah. So some key stats they say. So Arsenal claimed 3 points in a convincing 69.8% of the pre-match simulations by the Opta supercomputer. So I believe that is, they predict that 10,000 times, and out of 10,000 simulations, 69% of the time, Arsenal won the match. And I think it was something like 13% was Sunderland, and then 16% a draw. So the computer doesn't think that Sunderland's going to win, but as we know, this isn't FIFA. The match is not played on a Opta computer. You never know. Stranger things have happened in football. So just be wary. This could be a game that goes to the wire. Or it could be an Arsenal win. Easy peasy. We never know. So, says the Gunners have scored 8 Premier League goals from corners this campaign. The most ever by a side in their first 10 games of the season. I love this. Corner, 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 corner. Hey, I can't lie, I quite enjoy it because I just love seeing rivals cry. I swear down, it's so good, like seeing the excuses. There's nothing better than winning and people trying to make excuses for why your win is not as good, why your win is rubbish. A win is a win. What happened to just 3 points? 3 points is 3 points, because I'm pretty sure I don't know one football fan that complains when their team wins a trophy about, oh, the style of play was rubbish. Nah, we won the trophy. Everyone's there celebrating. They're all at the parade, jumping, singing and dancing. Hippie, hippie, hippie. We're all happy. So why now when it's Arsenal? Why since it's Arsenal? All the time when it's Arsenal, there's always an issue. There's always something. There's always a crybaby there crying. Arsenal did this. They do in the corners. Set piece FC. Because that's how you little whiny little bitches sound. That is the best way to describe it. Little whiny bitches crying about Arsenal. Focus on your own team. Focus on catching Arsenal. Yeah? Maybe if you string some results together, you might catch Arsenal. Yeah? So focus on yourself. Don't focus on us. We're top. We're not looking down at you peasants. Yeah? We're looking forward. Next game, one game at a time. That is it. One game at a time, nothing else. So, Sunderland's 18 points are the most a newly promoted side has won 10 games into a Premier League season since 2008, 2009. And I believe that was Hull. I remember that Hull side, dangerous. They had that Brazilian, I can't remember his name. Was it Giovanni? Dangerous. Jimmy Bullard? I remember a few of those dangerous Hull players, and they were cooking a few teams. They were a surprise package. It's always these teams in the stripes, the Brentfords, the Sunderlands, these Bournemouth, these stripy motherfuckers. You gotta watch out for them. They come up in their stripes and they try to get stripes off people. So you just gotta watch out. They already got their stripes off Chelsea, because we saw it was 2 games ago, I believe, that they punched up Chelsea. It was a magnificent performance from Sunderland. Literally, we saw how they played. They sat back. 90th minute came, pop, slapped Chelsea. Obviously, horrible defending by Chelsea, but you just have to be wary of these sides. So, obviously, it goes on to talk about Sunderland. They were the playoff winners last season. They're defying the odds, even being they're in the top 4 right now, 4th. Regis Lebris. I've never heard of this manager, but what he's doing for Sunderland is a magnificent job. It's fantastic, literally. So basically saying a win at the Stadium Light would move them 4 points behind Arsenal. Can you imagine that? So if they win, they'll go into second. This Sunderland, hey, you gotta be careful. Obviously, they've got a few players. They are going to the AFCON, but still, you just gotta give your hats off to them. Look, level on points after 10 games with Liverpool. Liverpool won the league last season at a canter. No competition. They, so, as I previously mentioned, Sunderland, they are on a 5-match undefeated streak at home. And that is the longest they have been on an undefeated streak in the Premier League since, was it 2010, August to December? And that was under Steve Bruce. Imagine that. Blast from the past. I swear he had like Welbeck, Darren Bent, Asamoah Jan, bare Black Dons, Wes Brown, John O'Shea and that as well. Like they had bare man, like couple Man United players, and yeah, man, I remember that Sunderland. Oh, Sessegnon. If you ain't kicking, you're shooting like Sessegnon. So yeah, man, they had a few players back then, but yeah, this Sunderland, they definitely look, yeah, they look like they're up for the task in the Premier League. But one player he's played a key part in their revival in the Premier League is the captain, Granit Xhaka. He did score the equaliser in their previous game against Everton. I didn't watch the match, but apparently Everton should have put the game to bed in the first half. But as you know, in the Premier League, if you do not just the Premier League in football, if you do not take your chances, if you do not finish your dinner, somebody else will. And Sunderland got the equaliser and remained undefeated. That was Granit Xhaka's first goal of the campaign. He made 222 appearances for Arsenal, and they're saying 113 of those. So it's basically half. Paid 112, 113, that's 225. Quick maths, come on. Not too stupid. We're under Mikel Arteta. So, yeah, man. Granit Xhaka, if they are to get something out of the game, he's gonna have to have quite a game. I don't know what he's gonna have to do, but it's probably not just gonna have to be him. I reckon their whole team, it's not gonna be just one player. Everyone's gonna have to have probably their games of the season. Because as you know, this Arsenal side, they don't need to play well to beat you. They just need maybe a set piece. But saying that, Sunderland, they are dangerous at set pieces, but I'll go a bit more into that. We're just looking at some of the facts from the match. Then Arteta's side, Arsenal, it's 4 games in a row since we conceded against Newcastle. We haven't gone 5 games in a row since George Graham's Arsenal in October 1987. That's a long time ago. I'm joking, I wasn't alive. But yeah, Arsenal's defence looks up to the task. It definitely looks up to the task. So Sunderland, it's going to be a tough job for them. Then it also goes on a bit more in detail. It shows the 3 goals that Arsenal had conceded. The Haaland one, the Walter made one, and obviously the Szoboszlai one. The XG of 5.7, but we've only conceded 3, so we're doing a lot better than the XG is saying. It's basically also saying 0.08 XG conceded per shot, so it's low quality chances. The shots we're giving away is very low quality, 0.08. You don't really expect people to score. I'm sure if it showed Sunderland's one, it would probably be a lot higher. It might be 0.2. It could be a lot higher. So what that just goes to show you is that Arsenal, very, very good defensively, and it's going to be very, very tough for Sunderland to even get a goal. Teams are not even getting shots on target. So Sunderland, they just got to be on point in this game. That's what they got to be. But yeah, I think that's sort of all we need to kind of look into, really, it goes into a bit of the expected lineup. I'll give my expected lineup, but I think there's also, I'll give my expected lineup. Then I'll go into 1-2 things that I'm expecting to see in this game. So this is the team that I would go with against Sunderland. So we got David Raya in goal. Usual back four: Timber, Saliba, Gabriel, and Calafiori. Zubimendi, Declan Rice, and Eberici Eze, with Saka, Trossard, and Merino in the attack. There's no new injury news, so everyone that was out from the last game, the Gyökereses, Martinelli, they're all still out. So this will probably be my team, and I think this is more than capable of beating Sunderland. It's much more than capable of beating Sunderland. And if we're gonna look at how this game is gonna go, there's a piece here on the BBC website. Obviously, you can go fully in depth into it, but it sort of talks about Sunderland's style of play, out of possession. They like the high press, especially from goal kicks, to try to win the ball up high, and it goes more in depth that they like to do the man for man press, sort of like Slavia Prague in midweek. And as you can see here against Chelsea, you got one player here pressing the goalkeeper, another player, Bertrand Traore, going ready to press. Who is that? The left centre back or the left back, Jarell Hato. And then you have the centre midfielder there, ready to press. I believe that's Enzo Fernandez, ready to receive the ball there. So they're all going man for man. And especially at home, with a home crowd, you're going to see Sunderland a bit more adventurous, take a bit more risk. There's going to be times in this game where Arsenal are going to be under the cosh. But what Arsenal are going to have to do is just remain composed, and when they get the chances, put the chances in the back of the net. No Victor Gyökeres here, but we saw in midweek, Mikel Merino is dangerous in front of goal. He didn't get as much service in the previous game against Burnley when he came on. That second half, it just seemed like Arsenal fully took their foot off the gas. But yeah, if Sunderland, if they try to do all of this, I expect Arsenal, we should pass through it. Maybe we might need to go long early on. Merino, he can win a few headers, so that is not a good way of bypassing the press. But if we are able to play out of the press, Sunderland against Chelsea and against Man United, they played with a 5 at the back. So potentially we might just have to try to break the press and catch them out of position, because there's going to be a lot of times in this game where they're just going to be in shape. They're going to be so hard to break down with the 5 and the 4. At times it might even end up being a 5-5. They might just have 2 banks of 5 and try to make themselves impenetrable. But we see in midweek Arsenal have tried new tactics, and maybe that was in preparation for this game, something different, because we don't have Victor Gyökeres. So that takes out that option of just like a ball over the top to Gyökeres, let him bring it down, get in behind. Merino hasn't got the pace. Saka, he hasn't looked as quick, and I wouldn't really say Trossard is an in behind man. So, and we don't have Martinelli, so maybe what we saw in midweek with Saliba dropping into the midfield, maybe that might be a way to kind of take Sunderland out of position, draw players out of position towards the ball, and then the gaps in the lines might be there. We might even see, if the game is 0-0 for the period, we might see a halftime change. We might see maybe a Eze and Wanyeri, 2 10s. Rice or Zubimendi, one of them might have to come off. Who knows? We don't know. We know that with Mikel Arteta this season, ever since that Manchester City game where I think, and he seems to have noticed that he was very negative in that game. We should have just went for Manchester City. But ever since then, he seems to be like up in his game, managerial wise, being more brave. So although we might not have all the tools at our disposal, because Odegaard, Martinelli, Madueke, Gyökeres, that's 4. Jesus Havertz, but yeah, they haven't really played this season. They're all out. But I think he won't be scared to use what is at his disposal and try and get as many attacking players on the pitch as possible. So, yeah, man, I'm quietly confident going into this game. I am quite confident going into this game, and I do feel that Arsenal will be able to get some joy from this game. But we just got to be careful because Sunderland, they are an aerial threat. As much as we're a threat from set pieces, I remember our first loss of last season, if I'm not mistaken, was against Bournemouth. And one of the goals came from a set piece. So we just got to be switched on. And even I think in the draw, was it Hoyson scored from a set piece, a long throw. Sunderland, they do a lot of long throws in the box. They got the Mukiel, who's an aerial threat. Ballard, a big aerial threat. So we just gotta just be cautious, be very vigilant and switched on. As if we're not, we could be in trouble. So, with that all being said, I am expecting Arsenal to get over the line in this game. I'm a go the same prediction I went for the Burnley game, and it was the same result. 2-0 to Arsenal. I think it's going to be a very tight game. I think we might get one early on in the first 15 minutes, and then we might kill it off in the last 15 minutes as Sunderland take more and more risks. But I'm expecting a very tough game against a very good opponent. But people, make sure you like, share, comment and subscribe to the channel. Hopefully Arsenal get this win, and then we get to sit back and wait for Manchester City versus Liverpool and see if we can go a lot more clear.